Presidents listed are the ages, years, of presidents of the United States at times of their first inaugurations. This is from dataset 22 Presidents in Appendix B. Presidents who took office as a result of an assassination or resignation are not included. The data are current as of this writing. Use these ages to construct a frequency, relative frequency, and cumulative frequency distribution. Use a class width of 5 years and begin with a lower class limit of 40 years. Do the ages appear to have a normal distribution? So the first thing is, it's telling us that we need to begin with a lower class limit of 40 years. And the class width is 5 years. So that's really important here. So that means that the lower limit of the first class is going to be 40. And if our class width is 5, then that means the next lower limit is going to be 5 more than that, which is 45. Okay, and then the next lower limit, 45 plus 5, is going to give us 50. 50 plus 5 gives us 55. 55 plus 5 is 60. 60 plus 5 is 65. And 65 plus 5 is 70. Now, why do we only go to 70? Because of the fact that the highest age here that we have in this particular data set is currently 70. Okay, so now we need to find the upper limit of each class. So since we only have, or there's no decimal here, so we're only dealing with whole numbers. Well, what number is 1 less than 45? Well, that means we got 44. So then what number would be less than 50? 50 minus 1 is going to give us 49. Okay, 55 minus 1 is going to give us 54. And so since we know that the class width is 5, now all we need to do is just add 5, because 44 plus 5 gives us 49. 49 plus 5 gives us 54. 54 plus 5 gives us 59. 59 plus 5 gives us 64. 64 plus 5 gives us 69. And 69 plus 5 gives us 74. Now we have our classes. Now we want to find out what are all the values that are between 40 and 44. Okay, so we're going to take and look for the values that are between 40 and 44. So we have 1 there. And let's see here, we have 2. And are there any other numbers in between 40 and 44? So far we have 2. So that means that our frequency is 2. Okay. Now, if we want to find out what are all the values that are in between 45 and 49, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So let's see if that's our frequency. So we have 7 for our frequency for the ages between 45 and 49. Okay, now we want to find the frequency between 50 and 54. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So therefore, we have 9. There should be one more, and that's this one right here, which is 10. Okay, next, now we need to find all the numbers that are in between 55 and 59. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it looks like we got 10 again. Okay, next, let's take a look at 60 to 64. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have 6. Okay, let's take a look at 65 to 69. We have 1, 2, and then 3. So there's 3. And then the last one is between 70 and 74, and it looks like we have one of them, so therefore there's 1. Okay? Alright, so now we need to find the relative frequency. So in order to find the relative frequency, we need to find the total of the frequency. So let's go ahead and find a total first. So I'm going to go ahead and then find a total. Okay, so let's go ahead and add those up. So if we add up those numbers, we have 2 plus 7 plus 10 plus 10 plus 6 plus 3 and then plus 1, which is equal to 39. So therefore the total is going to equal 39. So now in order to find the relative frequency, okay, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take this value of 2 and then we're going to divide it by the total number here in the frequency, which is 39. So if we do that on our calculator, if we take 2 and then divide it by 39, then we're going to get the following decimal, 0.05128. So we have 0.0512, and then if we want to then round that to a percent, we would multiply this by 100, and then that would give us the percent. So let's multiply this number by 100, and that gives us 5.12%. If we round that to one decimal place, we end up getting 5.1%. Okay, next, we have 7. So we're going to take 7 and divide that by 39. 7 divided by 39 gives us 0.17948. We're going to multiply that by 100. Then that's going to give us 17.9% because we're rounding it to one decimal place. So we're going to see here, multiplying that by 100% is now going to give us 17.9%. Okay? So now we're going to take the next value, okay, which is 10. We're going to take 10 and then divide that by 39. Well, if you divide up 10 divided by 39, then we get the following. 10 divided by 39 gives us that, 0.2564. And again, we want to multiply that by 100%, which is the percentage. And rounding that to one decimal place gives us 25.6%. So there's 25.6%. Well, we know 10 for the second one is going to give us the same result. So we know that's going to give us the same answer. Now we're going to take 6 and then divide that by 39. So 6 divided by 39 is going to give us 0.1538. And if we multiply that by 100, then we're going to get 15. We're rounding this to the nearest percent, so that 8 tells us that we need to round this up, which gives us 15.4%. And therefore we get 15.4%. Now we're going to take 3 and divide that by 39. So 3 divided by 39 gives us this decimal. If we multiply it by 100%, that gives us 7.69. We're going to round that to one decimal place, so this 9 tells us that we need to round up. So therefore that's going to give us 7.7%. And then the last one, we're going to take 1 and then divide that by 39. So 1 divided by 39 and gives us 0.256. Let's multiply that by 100. And that gives us, rounding that to one decimal place, gives us 2.6%. So there's 2.6%. Now, just to make sure that we're correct, let's go ahead and add these all percentages up. So we should get close to 100%. So we have 5.1 plus 17.9 plus 25.6 plus 25.6 plus 15.4 plus 7.7 plus 2.6, and that should give us approximately 100%. So it's 99.9, which is either going to be slightly under 100% or slightly over 100% or 100%. And therefore that represents our relative frequency. Okay, now how do we find our cumulative frequency? Well, the first thing we want to do is, how many do we have in the first frequency? Well, we have 2. So that's going to be the first one for the first cumulative frequency. Now cumulative means we need to add these up. So now we're going to add 2 with the 7. So if we take 2 and add that with 7, that's going to give us 9. So now we have 9. And now we're going to take this 9 and then we're going to add that to this 10. So if we take 9 and then add 10, then we get 19. Now we're going to take this 19 and then add that 10. So if we take 19 and add 10, that's going to give us 29. If we take 29 and now add the 6 of the frequency, 29 plus 6, that gives us 35. If we take 35 and then add 3, 35 plus 3, which gives us 38, and then 38 plus 1 is then going to give us 39. So that should give us the total amount of frequencies, so you can see how that should match. But this is the cumulative frequency. Now the question says, do the ages appear to have a normal distribution? Okay, well if you notice here, it starts low, it gets a little higher, and then it peaks at 10, and it's still peaking at 10. It's going to go back to 6, and then down to 3, and then low. So basically what it's saying is it starts low, it goes high, and then it goes back low again. So this does appear to have a normal distribution. So we would say the following. Okay, we would say, yes, the ages do appear to have a normal distribution.